Atowak did it again. They pushed even closer to real hyperwatches like Urwerk and MB&F. And once again moved away from Alto 8, yet another brand that brings cool and interesting time reading to us mortals. Before these two brands came to existence, only the super rich could enjoy complex wandering hour complications, as the real ones often costed in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So for most of us watch geeks that don't have that much money to spend on this hobby, they were just a fantasy. Then Atowak came with their first models and Alto 8 followed. Atowak always made the push forward, making more and more complex systems, coming closer to the Swiss, while Alto 8 would usually follow later on with the same complication in a more wearable package. The pinnacle of both was a wandering hour complication that had rotation on both axes, horizontal for the main triangle and vertical for the hour markers themselves. This made them very close to the Swiss, but they were missing another rotation, one that makes the cage of the hour markers slowly rotate opposite of the movement of the main triangle to give us cages and markers that always point in one direction. In other words, while the cage is turning, the markers seem to stay stationary. That was the final missing piece to make them truly move like the Hyperwatches from Urwerk and MB&F. Well, Atowak just made another push and incorporated a planetary gear system on their newest model called Cosmofleet, where on top of the usual wandering hour complication that rotates on both axes, they added the backward rotation, making the markers always point down. That makes the name Cosmofleet quite appropriate, as they look like three spaceships always flying information in the same direction, regardless of where they are on the dial. Since the base is a Miyota 9029 movement that in normal watches has to move just two very thin and very light hands, making a planetary system with over 44 parts that all interact with each other would simply not work, as there is too much mass and friction that requires way more energy to make it move and to sustain that movement. For this reason, the vectorial orbit wandering hour system, as Atowak calls it, had to be made as light as possible and as friction-free as possible. That was achieved by making it mostly out of titanium, while all the bearings are made out of rubies. Like that wasn't enough, each component on the wandering hour system is hand-finished. And it shows, as even under macro, everything is really well made. Considering all of the above, and the fact the Swiss-made counterpart is in the six figures price-wise, the price of just under $3,000 isn't as crazy as it sounds at first. As not only do you get a Hyperwatch, but a Hyperwatch that is incredibly well made with exotic materials and that also looks great. Since the case is also made out of grade 5 titanium, the whole watch weighs under 70 grams, making it disappear on the wrist as you wear it, despite a hefty size on paper and bulky looking shape. It is one of the most comfortable watches I have worn, partly thanks to a very wide and very soft leather strap. The only thing this watch won't be able to do is clear cuffs, but then again, you don't want such a conversation starter to be hidden under a sleeve. And trust me, this will get noticed. It makes me so happy brands like Atowak exist, as they allow us regular people to enjoy these watches that are truly elevated to a level of a proper micro machine. Now it's Alto's turn to try and match this complexity in a more classical case, but at the same time, I can't wait to see what Atowak will come up with next. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.